And we are live once again for the Simifair GT3 Season 4 Championship. Again with our third attempt at Imola due to a server crash. Live once again. Last time at Imola, so hopefully the drivers can get a decent run at it. You may see a few freezes again just as we go on to the stream. There are still a few people probably left to join the practice server. We're at 37 at the moment. We are expecting more people to turn up, so hopefully they get here. And as you can see tonight, we're very much on for, well, for now anyway, we're on for wet weather, but we could be completely wrong, but nevertheless, we'll see what happens. A few corners there where we saw a few mishaps last week before the disconnect. So the first attempt, for those that weren't there, was unfortunately red flag due to a massive off at turn 1 just after lights out, and then after the second attempt at green flag, we got about 20 minutes of racing before the server disconnected. So where the drivers did get off to a reasonably good start, apart from some, unfortunately there was only 20 minutes worth of racing in it, so we didn't even make it to the pit stop, which is an absolute shame. But here we are today, a week on. The drivers have indeed voted to rerun this race, so we're not moving on to Paul Ricard at the moment. Drivers were absolutely determined to rerun this race, and I'm wondering how they're all feeling now that we've got wet weather. Got a few drivers back on the grids. We have Tyan Fox, number 55 in the Mercedes 2020 Evo. Took a bit of a break after the first race, but he's back to have another go at the GT3 Championship. Certainly picked the right weather to join. A lot of the drivers have been somewhat concerned about the wet weather. We have a few more people on the track as well, a few new people that have made it onto the entry list. Oh, bit of a freeze again, excuse me. We are having more drivers join. That does mean that they're having to load the liveries in. Whoops, there goes one livery, one Porsche. Car number 115, that is unfortunately a livery that hasn't loaded. Is Grim Lilith. Yeah, we were expecting to see a blue and pink livery on there, but that's not loaded up, and to be quite honest, I don't know why. Never mind. So looking at new drivers, then we have Ferox in car number 36. One of few GTRs on the track. Ferox has joined us after gaining entry, and you can see him going out now. Fantastic looking livery for the GTR, nice red and black stripes on that one as well. So all the best to Ferox for today at Imola. Hoot Wheel was back on the grid, thinking that she wouldn't make Imola last week. Surprised to say she's able to make it this week, so it means that she doesn't have to miss out on a race. So hopefully she gets a good result today in the wet weather. Car number 759. Tom Bryan in a rather interesting entry into the GT3 series. It's not a Lamborghini, really. We all know it as the Rex, or the Writer. So Tom has signed up in the Writer and decided to bring it to the wet weather here at Imola. To have a go, we'll say, to have a go and see just exactly what he can do with it. So welcome to the grid, Tom. Hopefully he has a good time in that car. Oof. Oh, wrong click there. New to the track as well is Neo here in the car number 310. It's a very colourful livery, sporting the Simstrata logo as well. Look at that, a very colourful livery on that M4 BMW. Absolutely stunning time and effort put in there as a couple of drivers go a little bit wide at Tamburello. But here we go, we see Neo come through and go a little bit wide and pull over the car. So probably some setup work and shake-ups going on there. Back for another go at it is Rene in the 521 Lamborghini Huracan. Nice red, white and grey car going on for Rene there. So hopefully we wish her all the best. Dags was here last week to start the Imola grid, but unfortunately, like every other driver, didn't get to see the checkered flag at the end of it due to the server disconnect. Back for another go in the wet weather in the Lexus is the 141 of Eris. There we can see it coming down the start-finish straight now. Nice purple and pink and green livery and yellow and other colours that I've probably missed as we gain another driver there. So that's Eris back for the wet weather of Imola. Welcome back to all the drivers as well. It's certainly something to go at in the wet weather. There you can see Paula there in a 148 Audi Evo coming into Tamburello now. Smooth so far, yeah, very smooth through that corner. Got Hoot and someone else there going side to side coming into Villeneuve. Oh no, sorry, they have split out. And we have Seffi back for another go at it in the 222 Aston Martin in the wet weather. I think being chased there by, oh no, Plasma in the number 12 Porsche. Back on the grid as well after changing cars out is the number 11 Ferrari of Attic. He was in the Bentley Continental at Spa, but found that he didn't quite get on with it, so he's turned up in what I can only assume is a KM livery for the Ferrari. As well, back for another go at it is Tai Chi in the BMW M4 number 32. Nice black and blue livery he's got going on there. Great looking car. Hopefully he can push that car right out to the front of the grids come the start finish straight or green flag even. Whoops. Current leader of the Pro class at the moment is the number 86 McLaren of Fezfox. Despite the fact that we've had new people joining, he's not quite always finished on the top 3 positions. He still holds the number 1 position overall, so hopefully he can continue to hold that lead. Oh, another freeze there. We've got another driver just quickly joining the track. So that's 44 cars we're up to now for Imola, as that freeze has unfortunately caused Grim and Ty and Fox to go a little bit skew-if. Cameras brand new to the grids today. Didn't get the chance to turn up to Imola last week, I don't think. But here he is now, racing in the Audi number 97 with a fantastic looking KM livery. The orange animal you can see on the orange and white car is the number 97. Nope, the orange animal you can see on the orange and white car is a shark. There we go, we'll get the words out eventually. Welcome to the viewers as well who have come back to have another go at it along with me. Say hi if you're there and let me know what you want to see as we look at pulling a few drivers for some interviews. You'll have to bear with me as I have a look and see who's currently driving and who's not. The last thing we want to do is pull these people from practice. Let's consult the broadcasting tool there. So we've got quite a few of them in the pits, but not everyone. Oh, I've got a yellow flag. Oh, there we go. He's fine. He's back in the pits. Menos' livery has changed. That's good. So Menos, we were supposed to see this last week, but for some reason it didn't update. But Menos has now changed to proper lime green and black livery on the number 139 McLaren. Oh, got another yellow flag there. That's telephones running a little bit wide. Looking to rejoin the track, maybe. Oh, he's trying to get that Mercedes going. There we go, he's got it going again. Will he come over? Nope, he's having to take it slow again. He's got 3 cars coming up behind him. Oh, there we go, he's made it to the pits, that's good. Denak has had a bit of a livery update as well. So Denak back in the number 54 Jaguar. What a change. What a change of colours. And I'm almost confused because we've got Dip's picture on. Oh my gosh, that stems back to a meme taken from Kyalami, where I got Denak and Dip's car horribly confused with one another, and then a meme was made out of it as well. So there we go, there's contribution to that meme on Denak's car tonight, along with an overhaul of the colours completely. It was orange and black. But there we go, that's car number 54 of Denak, who we will probably look at speaking to in a bit, but as we can see, he's out there on the track at the moment. We don't want to disturb him until he gets back in. Yeah, let's see. Oh, we had a yellow flag for the Rex there, but no, they seem to be doing all right as they come through Aqua Minerale. Hemi Husky's back in the number 101 BMW M6. With an updated livery compared to the last one. Very colourful looking livery it is as well. So good luck to him tonight in the wet. It's unfortunate because him and Snooty managed to get P1 and P2 in qualifying last week as well. So hopefully he can repeat the performance, even though we've got a weather update. Back racing again. We weren't sure if he was coming, but it's the number 62 Honda of Joker. We thought he had an injury to deal with there, but it seems like he's pulled through and he's back on the grid now. So it's good to see him back up and running. Let's see. Some of the cars that we do want to pull are still on the track at the moment. Oh, we've got another yellow flag, and that is the number 89 Jaguar of Slowbird on the auto chicane there. Very hard chicane that is as well. Very, very tight chicane. Oh, we've got another off as well there. We've got the Jaguar. What's going on? Right, let's just have a look at this a minute. Wow. So we've got an exact copy of Denak's car, quite literally Denak's car, with both Dip and Denak's picture on the side of the car there. Brilliant. Pfft. Let's see what it says on the top. Oh, great. Tribute to me as well. That's absolutely fantastic. And we wish both Denak and Dip all the best tonight. All the best tonight. for the rest of the rounds. So we've got Dip in there, and let's just have a double check. Is Danak in the pits yet, or is he still out and about? Oh, there's a Honda that's... Oh! Stopped there. What's going on there? At one point, some of these cars are going to have to move. There we go. That was unfortunate to see, but hopefully they can sort that out amongst themselves. So we've got Danak still out on the track there practicing. And what we'll do is we'll put a random shout out into the voice chat now, or rather the main GT3 chat of our Discord, which you can find us, by the way, on discord.gg/Simufair if you want to get involved in the racing that you're seeing here with you in front of you today. There is a reserve list though, so be quick to get on it if you can. We've still got 3 rounds left of this current season. So let's see if we can pull some drivers from the grid to stop and talk to us. Radio comms have gone out to this driver here that we can see currently. There we go, we think he's got the message, so we will wait for him to just get himself like sorted out. Oh. Well, I was going to do a bit of a shot of his car whilst we had the interview, but he seems to have merged with Sarah in the 604 Honda. Never mind. I wonder if we can get a different shot of it. Nah. Maybe there? Nope, it doesn't get any better. Just wait a few moments there for Danak to maybe jump to voice chat. Oh, there we go. So pulling him in to the commentary box now. Here we have the number 54 Jaguar. That's Danak. Hello, can you hear us?
Hello. Oh, what's up?
I just thought we'd pull you in for a quick chat before we move on to qualifying in half an hour, and thought we'd ask you a couple of questions.
Sure. What's up?
So first and foremost, then, what made you, or what rather inspired you to bring the Jaguar to something like this?
Well, the basic principle really is, it's a cat car, and I'm a cat person. That's like the primary reason, to be honest. But like, that's kind of the joke here. But like, the other reason also is just when I started playing Esila Corsa Competizione, and like the Jaguar was the first car I drove, and like I just instantly fell in love with it. And I enjoyed it a lot. I know it's not the fastest, or it's not the easiest to drive, but I enjoy the challenge as well. So I figured for my very first attempt, like doing GT3s in the Simufair GT3 series, I figured the Jaguar would be a good shot. It's a nice challenge for me. It looks cool, and it sounds awesome.
Excellent. And how are you feeling at Imola tonight compared to last week?
It to be seen. Like, it's certainly a much more difficult set of circumstances here with the wet weather, and it's not helped at all by, well, pretty poor brakes of the Jaguar. But I feel confident. I got some decent pace going. I'm feeling pretty consistent, so it remains to be seen how well I do in the race.
That's good to hear. And where do you think you'll finish tonight?
I hope I just finish, honestly. But I'm hoping to be hopefully in the top 5 if everything goes well. And I also want to be saying at this point, because me and Dib are actually running a special tribute delivery just for you, Slow.
Yes, we've spent a few minutes looking at both your cars.
Yeah.
Admittedly, I looked at Dip's car and then thought I'd accidentally switch back to you again. So,
We just figured because it's such a nice tribute for being such an amazing commentator, we wanted to run a special tribute video for Team Snollenborger.
Fantastic. I don't know who that is. I'm sure we'll figure that out later. Thank you very much for spending a minute to talk to us. We'll let you get back to practice.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you. Bye. So that was Denak, everybody, in car number 54 of the Jaguar, who we can see in view at the moment. Someone we haven't spoke to yet, who's been in the series and is absolutely dying to get up here and have a word with us. He expressed it shortly after Kyalami. Is our very own steward, Blade Wolf, in the number 142. In the number 142 Aston Martin. Here we go. Yep, he's definitely got the radio message. He's straight back in the pits. Straight back in the pits, and he will be on comms in just a few moments. That's better. Nobody's merged with him, so we can pull a nice shot of his car. And here we go then. So coming into the commentary box now is the number 142 Aston Martin of Blade Wolf. Hello, can you hear me?
Hello, Snowy.
Hello, how's it going tonight?
It's going all right so far. It's a bit of a change. In fact, we got some lovely rainy conditions, best suited for the car currently got. Fantastic.
And so you're back to the Aston Martin after sticking to the Audi for a short period of time. What made you come back?
I had a very disastrous season with the Audi. It was so bad that I ended up getting demoted from Pro to Silver because I just couldn't hook up with a car. I was struggling with it. It just didn't suit me. So I went back to my home car, should I say, my pride of joy, back to the Aston for this season.
And how do you feel tonight at Imola compared to last week? Do you think it's going to be? Do you think there's going to be more caution, or do you think there's going to be more chaos?
Oh, that's a tough one. I think for the top half of the grid, I think they'll be more cautious, but I'm very wary for the particularly the AM drivers who may not be experienced in these conditions, because it's completely different compared to what it is in drive for obvious reasons.
And final question from me before I let you go: who do you reckon your main rival is in the Silver Championship right now?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I would actually dare say Grim, because me and Grim are actually battling each other on equal terms in the RCI. But over here, yes, Grim has got the advantage at the moment, but I'm still going to gun for him. But also, my other rival at the moment, I dare say, is Newbie, friendly rival. We have a bit of banter as well.
Excellent, that's fantastic to hear. Well, we'll let you go there and get back to some practice. We're aware you were on a lap before diving in the pits to speak to us, so thank you for that. Enjoy tonight, and hopefully we see you at the top half of that grid.
Yep, thank you very much. I'll see you soon.
Thank you, take care. And so that was the number 142 Aston Martin of Blade Wolf there. He'll be going back out shortly. We have 30 minutes left, and we've only interviewed 2 drivers, so let's pull a random name out of the bag. Let me see, I'm looking for her now. So we'll see if she gets the message, and we'll see if she is able to come in and come off a lap to speak to us. She's on a lap at the moment, and it is the number 759 of Hoot Wheels. Hoot Wheels she was here for Spa. I don't think she made Kyalami, but I can't quite remember. As I said, I know she was almost planning not to be here tonight. However, this got pushed back, so she was able to make it. So if we can get her, we'll get Hoot Wheels up here and see if she wants to have a bit of a talk about how she's finding the Merc and the GT3 season overall. Had another off there from the Rex as it comes back to the pits. Hopefully Tom can sort that out. Oh, that's not an off, that's just a bit of a glitch. That's Bleed Wolf leaving the pits, so... And coming back into the pits again by looks like, must have been a fuel issue, maybe. Still got Hoot out on a lap at the moment. It is though an invalid lap now, as we can see she went a little bit too deep into Aqua Minerale there. We'll see if she comes back to the pits. If she doesn't come back to the pits, we'll pick someone else to come up and have a chat with us. It's nice to speak to some of the drivers, but if they'd rather be left alone to practice, then you can't really blame them. Especially in weather like this, it's not going to be the most perfect weather in 10 minutes. It is going to be getting heavier. You can see in the top right of the screen there. So currently it's medium rain, and in 10 minutes it's going to get heavier, and then in another 30 minutes. So by the time qualifying starts, it's going to be absolutely soaked out there on the track. So it seems at the moment Hoot Wheels isn't up for coming in and speaking to us just yet. So we'll come back to Hoot Wheels. Let's see if we can get someone else up here then. So the team principal of Kvetch Motorsports is currently racing tonight. Excuse me. Just need to get rid of that screen and need to pull up the broadcasting tool so I can highlight number 604. There she is in the pink and white Honda. The pink animal on there, as we've seen before, is an otter. Car number 604 is Sarah. So not long ago she built the Kvetch Motorsports racing team and has pulled together quite a team of people. Some of them are racing tonight. We'll run over them briefly. No, we won't run over them. We'll look at them briefly before, hopefully, maybe after, if Sarah doesn't quite make it to voice chat. It seems like radio comms did get out to her, so we'll see if she pulls in to speak to us. She is in the pits now. If you look at her livery there, the Mast Cell Disease Society, so she's running for a cause here as well, bless her. So this livery designed by Skylar Vixen. Might even see if Skylar wants to come up and have a chat. Actually, we've not actually heard from Skylar. But in the meantime, for the moment, we do have Hoot Wheels in the pits. So let's get Hoot Wheels up here. So to the commentary box now comes number 759 of Hoot Wheels. Hello, can you hear us?
Yeah, we can. Hello.
Hello. So you've been with us now for quite a bit, but you've not done a lot of racing with us. How are you getting on this season?
This season it's kind of up and down. You know, like, I don't know. Like, kind of up and down in the sense that, like, I feel like I should be, at this point in my experience with sim racing, should be a bit faster than I am. But I think putting a focus less towards raw pace and towards racecraft has really helped bring that pace up, you know? Because if you're driving a bunch of consistent laps, you know, that's always going to be faster than somebody who's driving faster than you, but is less consistent. So, on the one hand, I feel I should be faster, but also over the course of a race, I've been pretty proud of my results. So it's hit and miss.
That is great to hear. And So the last time you raced with us, you picked the Jaguar to come out in, and you did relatively well in that, from what we saw. How does the Mercedes compare, like, for you?
It doesn't.
It doesn't.
Doesn't compare at all. I mean, like with the Jaguar, that was a fun car to drive, and I mostly drove it because it was considered an off-meta car. You know, it wasn't super quick on the. Well, at the time, it was super quick in the straights, but not anymore. And it was really unruly in the corners, and in a way that I really enjoyed. It kind of reminded me of, stuff like the V8 supercars, stuff like that. So trying to wrestle a car that was constantly fighting you was always a lot more fun to me. But I decided this season to kind of like chill out a little bit. Went with the Merc Evo, and it's been a very settled car. It's not necessarily like easy to drive, but in comparison to the Jag, it's much less a handful.
Excellent, great to hear. And where do you think, or where were you hoping to finish tonight in the wet weather?
Honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm going into with the same mentality I've always had with this season, and that's just to finish the race. That's all I want to do, is just finish the race with a clean car. If I finish in the top 5 of the amateur class, then awesome, bonus. But wet weather I've always been very good at, because I'm very good at maintaining my limits and not pushing too hard in the wet. But still, there's always that risk where, you hydroplane in a certain area of the track and then just kind of spin off. So keeping that in mind, I'm mostly just, tempering my expectations and being pleasantly surprised if I do well.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much for coming up to talk to us for a little bit. We'll let you get back to the practice, and good luck tonight.
Yeah.
Excellent. That is car number 759 of the Jaguar by Hoot Wheels there. She'll go back out in a minute probably to do some more practice. Looking forward to the wet weather racing as well. It's always nice to hear someone actually looking forward to wet weather racing, especially if it works at an advantage for them. So we'll see then. So we're still waiting for Sarah to respond if she wants to come up and speak to us. But nevertheless, we'll get someone else up here in the meantime. One of the GTR drivers, car number 523, is Saber Kitsune in this very blue and white Nissan GTR. So up to voice chat and commentary box comes the number 523 driver, Saber. Hello, Saber.
Hello, hello.
So how's the season going for you?
Yeah, it started off pretty well, then I got some pretty decent top 10s in the next 2 races, so I'm happy with that.
And what's made you stick to the GTR? You're in the GTR literally every season you turn up to.
I mean, it's the best looking car on the grid, hands down.
It's the best looking car on the grid, and what's it like for performance?
You have to get used to it, I'll just say that.
And so how are you finding it in wet weather Imola compared to dry weather Imola last week?
I'd rather it be dry.
You'd rather it be dry. Oh dear. So do you think you're going to finish particularly high today, or?
Like it's been all season, I'm just shooting for a top 10, so.
Shoot for a top 10, that's not bad at all. And who do you think, apart from obviously aiming for that P1 position, who do you think you're racing against most at the moment?
That's a good question, actually. I would say pretty much all of Pro Class.
All the Pro Class. That's fair enough, considering you're in the Pro Class and racing against the Pro Class. I suppose that's a good answer. How do you feel the other Nissan GTR drivers are getting on with their cars?
Well, I mean, the other two are just in... Wait. Well, it's just randomly, and I believe, like, Ferox.
Ferox
so
as well,
I
yeah.
haven't Yeah, I haven't seen Ferrex drive yet, but they're putting in pretty comparable times to me. And like AM drivers, I don't want to like. It's just like I can't say about much of that. Sorry.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So what we'll do then is we will leave you to get on with practice, and thank you very much for coming up to speak to us. And good luck tonight in the race. We'll be watching.
Yep.
Thank you very much. So that is car number 523 of Saber Kitsune, who you can see in the shot there. And hopefully we can get Sarah up here at some point. I'm wondering if we should do a cheeky invade of KM to see if we can maybe pull everybody together. Should we do that? Should we go and raid KM's voice chat just to see if we are just to see if they want to speak together? Who have we got in KM at the moment? Let's see. So sitting here, well, there's quite a lot of drivers in KM in their comms chat overall, so no doubt they'll be working together to get the cars all set up together to get everybody confident to race. We'll certainly see how it goes. What I might do in advance is let one of them know that I'm coming, and that way we can not catch them off guard. Although we will DM Sarah personally before we just randomly jump in there. We don't want them to release like their secrets live on stream for us. So you can hear Saber roar into life there as he possibly looks at getting back out onto the track. Here we see the number 81 pink Mercedes of Josiah there. Josiah back for another go. Didn't get the best start last week at Imola. Hopefully he can have a much better start this week at Imola, even though it's in the wet weather. From what I'm seeing from most of the Mercedes, they seem to be handling alright as well. It's been said that the Aston's a very good car in wet weather. The Mercedes looks to be doing okay. You can see him here coming into Aqua Minerale now, just slightly wide there, but I wouldn't necessarily put that down to anything. It's all practice at the moment. Still waiting for an answer from Sarah at the moment regarding joining the KM chat for a specific KM interview. So we'll see what comes of that. We'll give them a few more minutes before we move on and maybe pull someone else for an interview. There's 16 minutes left of free practice, so if we can get in, we'll give them about 5 minutes just to introduce themselves, say, you know, who they are, etc, and why they feel like driving the cars that they're driving. And if not, we can maybe pull another driver to speak to us. Well, no movement yet from KM, but we'll... Okay, fair enough. Nothing yet from the KM bunch. So let's see. If we can get this driver in front of us up to the comms box for a chat. We've seen him perform for most of the season relatively well in the Mercedes 2020. But it looks like we've caught him just as he's going out for another practice run. So maybe probably not a great idea. To make him come in for an interview. So we will indeed be visiting KM. Excuse me. Hold on 1 second, everyone. Excuse me, right, we are going to indeed visit KM then for a few minutes. So let's get the KM owner back on screen. There we go, so it's the number 604 Sarah. And hold on to your hats, guys. And get ready for something that's potentially loud. We are right now in the joint pit box of the KM drivers. Hello to all 10 of you that are in
Hello,
here.
everyone out there.
Wow.
Wow.
We have got some energy in here tonight. So who's going to win out of you lot?
It's probably going to be
Definitely
Chris
not me.
or Blade
Chris,
Wolf is my
Chris.
guess.
Yeah.
Blade Wolf is a good contender though today.
Yeah.
Cameras, welcome back to the grid. It's good to see you back on the grid again.
Yeah, I'm glad to be back here, of course.
Nick, how's
Rapid
the
as well.
how's the Mercedes treating you?
Pretty stable. So far got it tamed down. Definitely a bit good on the pace right now, so long as I don't forget to brake.
Chris, how are you?
Okay for driving an Audi and wet.
Are you out on track currently?
I am, yeah.
Oh, my apologies. We'll not disturb you much further.
No, you're fine. It's practice.
It's practice.
Fair enough. Paula, you're in the Audi as well. Is that the latest one or is that the older one?
That is the latest one.
It's the latest one. And how are you finding it through the season?
Sarah, would you mind?
Definitely better in the dry, that's for sure.
Thank you.
That's fair. And a lot of people have said that. To be fair, we were going to ask Skylar some questions about her absolutely fantastic livery designs, but it seems that she's in full concentration mode. So we won't disturb her for the most part.
That's fair.
And we can see as well, Telephones is out on the track as well, so he's probably got some concentrating to do as well, so we won't pull him in. Sarah, you started KM not that long ago, if I remember correctly.
I actually started it with Skylar probably back in. That's a good question. I think
Definitely
June.
this year.
I think it was June of this year.
Yeah, it was shortly after one of the series, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yep. And how do you feel it's grown since you've started it?
It's grown in a way that I never expected. The amount of amazing people that have decided to take part in this entire thing is just, it blows my mind every day. And I'm just glad to have the ability to learn from such awesome drivers. People who just really want to have fun and kind of become better at what they love.
And speaking of drivers that want to become better at this, we do have the KM Academy driver Jin on chat as well. Jin, how are you doing?
Quite good, I guess.
Quite good.
It's a bit tricky, my first wet race in this game.
In the Honda as well, of all cars.
Yep.
And how are you finding it in the wet?
It's quite good, but much to improve. Braking points are different.
And Dip in the same colour Jaguar completely as Denak. How are you doing?
Not too bad. It's this car is a joy to drive in the wet because it's just body roll for days. You can literally chuck it into a corner and it just kind of sticks. So it's good fun.
And what inspired you and Denak to take out the exact same livery tonight? Then what brought that on?
Well, it was you confusing a very bright livery versus a very dark livery as the same one. So we got together and we thought we might as well make a joke out of it.
How did I know? How did I know? Attic, you're back on the grid after swapping out the Bentley for the Ferrari. How are you finding it?
It's a lot to pick up, and to be honest, I don't get frustrated because I'm seeing red plates beating me. So I'm like, oh god damn it, did I make a mistake or not? But
it's like trial by fire, bringing it out in the wet weather, innit?
Yeah, but it's supposed to be a stable car, so I'm kind of frustrated with that. But whatever.
Yeah. Right, I will.
Don't expect much from me.
It was great having you here, Snow. Thanks for getting a chance to know all of our drivers and amazing organization.
Thank you for allowing me to raid the chat. And hello to Grim, who's not on voice chat, but means.
Hi, Grim.
Hopefully he'll say hi before we head off.
Oh, and one more thing before you go. If you're a new driver and you're not really sure where to go, kind of thing, KM Academy is always, there for you. We got a great group of people who are already providing information, setups, coaching, you name it. Don't be hesitant to come around. It's just the team name, Discord, you'll find us.
Cheeky product placement there.
Thank you very much for everybody that had a bit of a word with us tonight, and I will leave you in peace. Take care and have fun, everyone.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Bye, thank you.
And so with that being said, we come back to the commentary box from the KM garage, and speaking to about 10 or 11 KM drivers there, most of which wanted to talk to us through the night, some of which were also out practicing as well, so it's good to see a bit of a mix going on there. 7 minutes left of free practice before we go on to qualifying. I am going to take a quick break from talking, and no doubt that will be a nice break for you lot. For me taking a break from talking, and we will be back in about 5 minutes with about 2 minutes left before before I lose my voice completely. So grab drinks, grab snacks. Qualifying is just round the corner and it is going to be an exciting one. See you soon. And welcome back then to the final 2 minutes of free practice. Some of these drivers definitely out on track, getting the last couple of minutes they can. And welcome back then to the final 2 minutes of free practice.
I'm repeating. Hold on, 1 minute there.
Some of these drivers definitely out on track, getting... My apologies there, you hearing me parrot myself, never mind. So yes, 765 Azure back for another go at Imola. Probably hoping for slightly drier weather, but nevertheless doing very well indeed. 44 drivers I believe we have on the grid at the moment, so a lot more that turned up. Is it 40? Oh no, excuse me, it's 45 drivers. It was 46, but someone has just left. So 45 drivers. Oh, 46, there we are now. That's the absolute most amount of drivers we've had on the grid in an event. And Azure here is number 9 out of 46 with free practice times at the moment. His fastest time currently is a 1:49.1 in this increasingly wet weather. So we're hoping to see if Azure can push that McLaren higher than that come qualifying. Some of the cars coming into the pits now to settle down as we tick down to the last 15 seconds of free practice. There's Plasma still out there in the Porsche. Currently sat on a 1:48.5. Some phenomenal times coming through in the wet weather. Chris McNichol, who you can see heading out here, possibly for another go at it, but he's got 2 minutes left. He's probably not going to make another quick lap. But he currently holds the top time of a 1:48.2. Our current overall leader, Fez Fox, sits in with a 1:48.5 at the moment. So needless to say, most of the drivers sat back in the pits now, getting ready for qualifying to happen. The AM class will be the first class out, and we will see them leave in just a few moments as we see Hoot Wheels here getting the last few seconds of that lap time. Unfortunately, she has gone invalid after running a bit too wide there. Is she going to come in now, or is she going to try and... I mean, her and Plasma are going to try and go again, but I don't know if they'll get another lap out of that. Nope, okay, so...
Green line, give it all you got.
Here we go then. And the AM class are the first drivers to head out. And we'll see who is the first one to head out at the moment. Let's just see... Oh, there we go, we have Tom Bryan out in the number 3 Rex. Or Reiter, very colourful Reiter it is as well. He comes out on an opening lap. And just behind him for AM class is Dat Sergel, followed by Geek, Sefi, Sarah, Denak. All coming out now within about a second of one another. So we'll hopefully see if they can leave themselves a gap. But Tom has definitely got out here and got himself a lot of space to play with when it comes to putting in a qualifying lap. Definitely think this deserves an onboard as we go through a lap of Imola. We'll see what it's like to handle the Reiter once it gets onto a fast lap. It shouldn't be too long now. Heading down, that was Piratella, I believe Tom just went through, yep, into Aqua Minerale sector now. This whole sector here is turn 11, 12 and 13, Aqua Minerale. And then they'll be heading on to the Alta chicane. Very hard braking chicane there. You can see it gets through relatively smoothly. It's good to see. And down towards Rivatsa Complex. This is a series of 3 turns in a bit of a box. So this one is part 1. Tight left-hander here. Part 2 is the tiny little bit of straight you've got seeing now. into part 3, which is another left that brings you on to the start-finish straight. So on board we go with Tom as he takes us through a lap of Imola then. So immediately down through turn 1, that's the kink going through now, down to the Tamburello chicane. Let you see the HUD there. It's very well controlled through the Tamburello chicane so far, pushing this Rex as hard as he can as we get up to the Villeneuve chicane, turns 5 and 6. There we go, doing very well to hold on to a ballad lap so far, up to the Tosa hairpin. Still very good control of the Reiter. You can see the TC kicking in a little bit there. He gets through Tosa pretty well, up towards this another little kink in it to the Piratella, turn 9. Then still in full control of this Reiter as it heads now into the famous Aqua Minerale complex. You can see here it's got quite an elevation change. Very well controlled by Tom through Aqua Minerale. Somebody's knocked a sign over there. Not everyone will be happy about that. Into the very tight Alta chicane now. Very well done so far. Telephone's just off the side of the track there. Tom gets by absolutely fine and pins the throttle all the way down to the Ravazza complex. You can see here, even in the wet weather, it's quite an early break point. So there we go, the final left-hand complex of Ravazza brings him onto the start-finish straight. The wet weather not letting up anymore now as he belts it towards the start-finish line. You'll see it just round this tiny little corner here now. There it is, and Tom comes in with a 151.5 in the AM class so far. It's a phenomenal lap by Tom in the Reiter. A 151.5, though he's pushed down immediately by that Sergel, coming in with a 150.9. We're still yet to see some other cars set a lap, although Sefi comes in there with a 153.2. Great effort by Sefi, although it's answered immediately by Geek, who comes in with a 152.5. Tom Bryant has now been pushed down to third place by Denak, who answers with a 151.492. There's not much in it at all between the old machinery of the Reiter and the Jaguar. Let's have a look slightly further down the grid. Skylar has pushed into P4, pushing Geek down, coming in with a 152.0 in the Honda 660. A phenomenal lap there by Skylar. Very good banker lap. We'll see if she can go any quicker. Randomly comes in to P5 with a 152.2. Although Wolfen has pushed everyone down by coming in with a 152 exactly. The Skylar's not got a lot of work to do to catch that time up. You can see down the bottom right of your screen, Wolfen there sits on a 152 exactly. Skylar sits on a 152.050 as she looks to try and somewhat get past Ruby Kitson, although it doesn't seem to be letting up as these two head down into Piratella. And it is Ruby that gets through first. I'm not sure. Both cars are on a valid lap, so Ruby doesn't necessarily have to concede there as she goes through Aqua Minerale, followed very closely by Skylar, who is indeed nearly a second up on her time. Tom Bryant is pushed up into P1 again with a 154. It seems like Skylar and Ruby have now separated between the two of them. Skylar's lost quite a bit of time there. She's got Cameras now chasing, and Cameras is 2 seconds up on his time at the moment. I believe someone had pulled over there to let the two of them by. I believe that might have been Renee. She's yet to complete a lap. Got 3 minutes left to do it. So Skylar then has still yet to catch up time. She lost a lot of time. Cameras goes drifting round the last bit of Ravazza. Blue flags wave. I'm not sure that's really necessary, but nevertheless Skylar is ahead of Cameras, so she will be on a valid lap when she next starts, meaning she doesn't have to concede the place. So Cameras pushes all the way up to P3 in AM class with a 151.1. Sergo again has pushed Tom Bryant down with a 150.2. However, Tom Bryant was on a faster lap, but he's got a bit of competition down from him. Denak again on a faster lap as well, sitting in P4 in the old machinery of the number 54 Jaguar. Coming into Aqua Minerale now, we can see him very smoothly through Aqua Minerale so far. And out of it again, not taking too much of that outside curb and catching the bumps. So far so good as he comes down into the Alto chicane. Very smoothly so far. He is gaining a little bit of time back there, so there is work to be done. Kammer still holds on to P3, Wolfen is P5 with Denak here in P4. Geeg is in P6 but yet to improve on his time. Randomly sits in P8 in the AM Class 73 GTR, and Sefi is in P9 with JPEG Fox in P10, but yet to improve his time. He's nearly a second up. He's coming to the start-finish straight now, so he'll be across the line in a minute. The time is slowly but surely running away from him, but nevertheless he'll go across to do a 1:52.2, which puts him all the way up into 8th place. So congratulations to JPEG for doing such a phenomenal lap. There's a minute and a half left for the AM class to get the best out of the cars that they can. Sergo is still holding on with a 150.2. Telephone, as you can see behind him there, and the slightly older Mercedes machinery in a 153.7. Rene in the 521 Lamborghini Huracan holds on to a 154.1 with Neo, our newest driver to the grids, on a 154.7. Ruby is in there with a 154.9. Sarah's in there with a 156.7 at the moment, currently last place in AM, although she's half a second up on her time. We've seen Jasper push all the way up into 8th place there with a 152.097. Not much splitting the top 10 AM class, so that's going to be a very interesting race to watch between all 20 of these AM class drivers. Oh wait, no, there is another driver yet to put in a time, and that is Hoop Wheels here in the number 759. She's got 20 seconds if she wants another lap out of it, but I'll be honest, I don't think that can happen. She may have to settle with starting at the back of the grid if she can't put in a qualifying lap anytime soon. She's still valid, but she's very much still down on her time at the moment, apparently. Although I'm pretty sure it's gauging it between... I'm pretty sure the broadcasting tool is gauging it on an out lap, but we'll see what happens. Here she comes into the final part of the GT3 race course that is Imola. And heading towards the start-finish straight now. Start-finish line is not too far ahead of her. It's going to be a good lap, whatever it is. Let's see where she pushes up into. She pushes all the way into 7th place in AM class. A lot of the cars are pulling over on the start-finish straight now, and the silver class have already started to come out and get on the warm-up laps. Here we have the number 38 of Dip, but it is the number 45 that leads the silver class charge at the moment. And that will be Kestrel in the number 45 Ferrari. So he's being followed currently by the BMW M4 of Anka here, as they both head down to the Alta chicane. And there we can see just behind them is Menos in that very striking green, black and silver McLaren. We'll look forward to seeing what Menos can do in the wet weather. So we've yet to see some silvers put in a time. Telephones is still on the track at the moment, although he has eventually brought the car to a stop. Hopefully he can get out the way soon, and he does, as Kestrel comes across the line to start on a flying lap. Let's see, where is Castro? There he is. Just through Tamburello now, heading up towards... sorry, yeah, no, that was Tamburello, my bad. Just look at the track map again, and it's helpful if I've got them in front of me. So into Villeneuve we go, up to Tosa, hairpin. Again, Anka going a little bit wide there, but he's still currently valid. But it's Castro at the moment on a nice valid lap. There's a little bit wide there. He looks like he's losing a bit of time at the moment, but needless to say, that is gauging it against an outlap. And most of these silver drivers have now started a lap. You've got the number 115 of Grimm just out ahead of Castro there. He'll be starting his lap in just a few moments. Through the Alto chicane comes Castro, followed very closely by Anka. Both of them on a flying lap as it is, doing very well indeed. So far so good from Castro. Both him and Anka head up to the start-finish straight now. So we'll see where Castro can put himself. He puts himself in 8th at the moment. Anka will go up to P3 overall. And we see Menos as well filling into P2 for silver. Nope, answered by Suzuka pushing into P2 for silver. Indeed, it's worth noting at this point, Skylar Vixen at the last minute, I completely missed this, at the last minute pushed in to the 149s for the AM class in the Honda 660. What a phenomenal lap from Skylar Vixen. Apologies, we never got to see that lap. Anyway, P1 for silver at the moment is Nick in the number 17 Mercedes. Very stable lap from Nick as he goes again for another go at it, pushing Anka down into P2, and Suzuka will be in P3 then. So Menos holds P4 for silver class, with Blade Wolf coming into P5 with a 151.065. Quite a lot of the silver class not able to get above that AM class at the moment. Castro there yet to do another lap, but invalid at the moment, being followed by Anka. Dip is on a 151.5 at the moment and still yet to go out, so hopefully oh yeah, no, there we go, he has left the pits. Paula Brady is on a 152, but nearly, well, well over half a second up on her time at the moment, so she'll be in there with a 151 somewhere if she keeps up the lap. We'll hope and pray that she can do. Grimm has started a lap along with Eris in the 141 Lexus in this weather as it goes through the Aqua Minerale, going a little bit wide there, but never mind, there's still 4 minutes left to get in a decent qualifying lap for Eris in the number 141 as you can see it go through the Alto chicane. Hopefully Eris can pull it back and get a decent lap in there before time runs out and the pro class come onto the pits. Let's check the top of the silver. We've still got P1 in silver is Nick, who pushes Sergo down, but is still yet to answer to Skylar Vixen, who currently holds the fastest lap of the session. Not only is she P1 for the AM class, she is P1 overall right now, and there's just 13 minutes left of qualifying. Now obviously we've yet to see the pro class answer with their times at the moment, but what a phenomenal feeling that must be for Skylar Vixen, sitting that high on the grid at the moment, as even the fastest silver driver is still struggling to push that position down. We're going to stay on board here with Nick at the moment. He's the first person that's got any chance of doing it, maybe. Here we can see him now heading up towards Aqua Minerale. I keep forgetting that corner name, it's Piratella. I only remember that after they go through it. So here we go. Nick's gaining or losing, excuse me, a little bit of time there. So probably not this lap. He probably won't have a chance to answer this lap to Skylar, but he makes up a lot of time coming through the Alta chicane. We'll see if he can get it right as he heads into the final complex before coming across the start-finish straight. Grim moves into P2 for Silver Class, pushing Anka down to P3. Blade Wolf has moved up to P4. And Suzuka has come back into P5, pushing Menods down to P6. Deeds is up there in P7, and Paula holds P8 in Silver Class at the moment. Nick is about to come across the line. Has he beaten Skylar's time? He hasn't. No, he comes in with a 1:49.9. So still Skylar Vixen sat on the top podium at the moment, as we have a bit of an off there. It's on the start-finish straight. That is Deeds coming into the pits to probably call it a day. Although there is a minute, just under 2 minutes there, as Deeds picks another parking spot in the pits. Let's have a look further down the grid. We've got Suzuka out on a lap at the moment, although he's not doing as well as his last lap. He's losing a touch of time. We'll see if he can make it up as he comes into through Piratella into Aqua Minerale now. You can see him there coming through, still moving at some speeds in that Lamborghini Huracan number 10. Excuse me 1 minute. Yep, here we go through the Alta chicane. Still yet to make up time has Suzuka, but he has got a minute left. Bit wiggly out of the Alta chicane there. It's a good catch if it was a mistake. 50 seconds comes across. 50 seconds to come across the line and put in another lap there. We'll see if any of the pro class have started lining up to come out yet. We've got no one moving to queue up just yet, I don't think. Nope. So we'll probably see at the 30-second mark some cars will move to line up. There we go. We've got Dags there, followed by Josiah moving out now. I think Ferox is going to make a move. Azure goes out to line up as well. We've got Fez Fox waiting there on the inside pit lane. All the other cars come to line up on the fast lane. 5 seconds left before these pro drivers can head out and Silvers have to call it a day. So there we go, Fez Fox comes out taking the pit board with him, it seems, and all the other pro drivers head out onto the track then to get their banker laps in and their fast laps done. Showing yellow flags there for Attic, but I don't think that is what it should be. So next one into the pits then is the number 38 of Dip. He's on a 1:51.5 at the moment. He heads up to the start-finish straight. Will he put in a better time than what he's on? And he doesn't, unfortunately. That is a shame. He's not managed to get any higher. So that is Dip all set and done. A couple of the other pro drivers there coming out very cautiously indeed. You can see Dolby there heading out across the start-finish straight now. And there comes Dip into the pits. Still yet to... oh wait, no, there we go. He is making his way out the pits. Ty and Fox in the very blue and yellow 55 Mercedes. Warming up for this wet weather. You can see Ferox just ahead of him there. And just checking as well, that is all silver drivers in the grid. Got Tai Chi yet to leave and put in a fast lap. Chris McNichol seems to have had a bit of an off, but I think he's alright. So coming across the line then to start a flying lap. He was the first one out of the pits. A lot of space to breathe. There comes Fez Fox, so let's go on board with Fez just to see how well he handles Tamburello here. A bit of an off from Tyan Fox, it seems. Hopefully he can recover the car and get back on it. Fez Fox coming into the Tosa hairpin, little bit wide, but manages to swing in very nicely, keeping that speed up. Through Piratella goes Fez Fox now in the number 86 McLaren. Into Aqua Minerale now, you can see how much, look at that elevation change, how much control is needed from the driver. Not only doing tight turns, but also negotiating coming up a hill. Into Alto chicane there, a bit bumpy, but very well handled so far. Back on the throttle immediately. See where Fez brakes for Rivazza Complex. So that's the 150 board, 100 board. That is just after the 100 boards. We could see some of the AM drivers were slowing down a little bit before that. That's probably a confidence thing. But the McLaren is Fez's favourite car by far. He drives it all the time. So here we can see now then Fez Fox is going to push all the way up into P1 with a 149.425. Skylar Vixen is only P2 at the moment with 6 minutes left of qualifying. So that is Fez Fox there with a 149.4. Next up into P2 then of Pro Class. But P6 overall is Josiah in the number 81 Mercedes there, although Chris McNichol has pushed him down a position, setting a 150.0. Fez Fox currently holding the fastest time at the moment. Cafe pushes into P6 overall with a 150.0. Very close so far between some of these pros and silvers. Skylar Vixen yet to be knocked off of P2. P2 all the way for Skylar Vixen. What a lap she set in the wet weather for the Honda. Ferox there pushing the GTR into P7 overall. Cafe is P6 as we've seen. Chris McNichol is P5 overall. Fez Fox holds P1. Let's have a look slightly further down. P14 overall is Hemi Husky in the BMW M6. Not yet up to the top of the grid, so hopefully he can push harder. Azure Goat is P17 overall, but nearly half a second up on his time, so that could potentially be the 49s for Azure as we see him head down towards the start-finish straight. Let's see where he comes in at. So here we go then, he's making the time back. It is a 150.2, so not quite the 49 Azure was expecting, but needless to say he's got plenty of time to have another go at it. The top three still hasn't changed. It's Fez Fox from Skylar Vixen, from Nick, a pro, an amateur and a silver driver take P1, 2 and 3 for the start of this race as we know it. Attic Racer in the Ferrari is pushed all the way up to P4. So certainly a better time for him than what he was having in the Bentley Continental. Hemi Husky seems to have had a bit of a crash, but he's rescued it. Dags is pushed all the way up to P5 with a 49.9. Some great times we're seeing so far. Adobe's just come into P8 there with a 49.9 as well. The top 10 are going to be very, very close packed coming into our third attempt at Imola GT3. Fez Fox has managed to go faster with a 49.3. Plasma has finally managed to find that P2 position by pushing in with a 49.4. So it'll be Plasma and Fezfox then, P1-2. Skylar Vixen still holds on to P3 overall and P1 in the AM Championship. I know I keep coming back to her, but that is absolutely phenomenal for Skylar. She'll be 100% elated with that. And we hope she can keep hold of that position as she comes to fight some of the pro drivers. Not much of a change going on there. Ferox has had a bit of a crash in Aqua Minerale. Well out of the way of other drivers there. Got Josiah Whiskey down in P15 overall, with Azure following closely behind. Azure's currently in P3 it seems, so we've missed that one completely. So Azure is P3. Skylar now pushes down to P4. Still in the 49s, along with quite a few of the pro drivers and some of the silvers as well. Still got Ferox there having a little bit of a hard time getting back up to speed. Obviously he's got to let traffic through, but he's got a clean bit of air now, and a minute and a half left to have another go at a quick lap. Very slowly he goes through Ravazza, probably to allow space between him and Plasma up ahead. We've got Saber Kitsune, who's unfortunately had a bit of an off and sits currently P19. Joker sits in P21 with a 150 and 3. Ty and Fox in car number 55 sits with a 150.5. We'll just have a look at the timetable here. You can see what I'm seeing. Very, very close it is between the top 10 drivers. And not to mention the other 10 drivers after it as well. So there's going to be fierce competition here. Leading into the third attempt of Imola, we see Ty and Fox now just coming up to Aqua Minerale. He's got a little bit of time to make up, but it's going to be a good lap either way. Joker's had a slightly better lap, pushing up to P12 overall. Dolby is happy with P11 at a 149.9. Fezfox up here still sits in P1 in the number 86 McLaren, with Plasma in P2, Azure in P3 and Josiah in P4. Skylar sadly moves down to P5, but she is still the top qualifying AM-class driver. Josiah Whiskey managing to push into P5 there as well with a 149.6. Great effort as we get that final 2-minute countdown. And we'll certainly come back to that in a minute, but for now, this is your pole sitter. Current GT3 Season 4 overall winner is Fezfox, and he looks to take the pole position and fastest lap. I believe fastest lap gains him that one extra vital point that he needs. And I believe it's looking like we are all done here for racing. Got a few minor changes to the grid, maybe. Might potentially see Hemi Husky pushing Skylar down a position, although it doesn't look likely. He's now lost nearly a second after that skid there. Yep, nope, he's called it a day. He's going to be P7. Dags in the 197 has come into the pits. He sits P11 currently. It's a valiant effort in a 149.9. As I said, you can see from the times it's going to be a very competitive grid between the top 10 and the second 10. And we shall call it a day there whilst we go on to be right back again, and you will see me at the start finish grids for the lineup. See you in about 5 minutes, everyone. And here we are then on your grid for the third attempt at the Imola GT3 race. Race control having a bit of a time applying quite a few penalties, it seems, to some of the drivers. We've got Azure Goat in P4 there with a stop go 10. Skylar Vixen will unfortunately have to complete a drive-through. Let's go further down the grid. Quite a few of the AM drivers receiving some of the penalties as well. We've got Denak there on +5 seconds. Randomy on a stop go 10. Jasper is in there with a 15-second time penalty. Furthermore, we've got Ruby Kitsune in P45 with a 15-second time penalty as well. And hello and welcome to this driver who has made it just in time for the grid. It is the number 47, the number 48 of Snooty McFlude in P47 at the moment. Unfortunately, he didn't get a chance to qualify, but nevertheless, he's here now and ready to take on what could be a very eventful first lap. So 5 seconds then, we have Fez Fox from Plasma, from Cafe, Azure, Josiah, Skylar, Hemi, Ferox, Newbie Nick and Attic Racer as Fez Fox leads this third warm-up lap they've had in the wet weather. Track status is damp at the moment, but it looks like it's going to get wetter through the race. So all the drivers do get away safely off the line. You can see them here making their way up to turn 1. Snooty, of course, having not had a practice or qualifying, he has got to do everything he can to get those tyres up to temperature. Unsure if it's going to be a guess for Snooty or not, or whether or not he's done some wet weather practice, but needless to say, we'll see how his race goes. Putting a bit of a distance between himself and the rest of the grid just so he can have that warm-up, and he loses it! Oh no! And he clatters the front of that BMW M4. That's not going to be fun for him at the start of the race. Deary me, a bit of a scuff taken to the 48 BMW. As you see some of the drivers now come into Aqua Minerale. Through Aqua Minerale comes the grids. Quite a long warm-up that this one is. There's Slowbird in P41, car number 89. Just like the other two Jags ahead of her, she's coming out to brave the wet weather of Imola. As we again have a look at this third attempt, you can see Telephones in P42 behind her there. Front of the grid gets into the final complex before the start-finish straight. A lot of the cars, for some reason, coming through together. I mean, someone must have told them that the race hasn't quite started yet, but they're now getting into the 2x2 formation, and this will be what the catch-up period is all about. But we're back here now as we head down to the start-finish straight of our third and hopefully final attempt before moving on to Paul Ricard. You should see it any minute now. You can see the lights there in front of you. They will turn green and we will be away. Race control will announce it.
Green light. Give it all you
And
got.
away we go for the third attempt. For the third attempt at Imola. All cars come down towards 2-1. They bunch up a little bit. It's a little bit tight and hairy coming through turn 1 there, but it seems like the majority of the grid have got through. There's a bit of bumping and bashing, and as Ty and Fox gets involved with it there, they go a little bit 3 or 4 wide. Saber's off the track there, but they've all made it through turn 1 at least. Oh no, there is a car off. That is Tom Bryant in the number 3. Drops all the way down, and Kestro's in the pits as well, but needless to say, everyone has made it so far through turn 1. It's fantastic to see then, so we will go racing today. Fez Fox almost immediately gets away in P1 as they come through Piratella down onto Aqua Minerale. It's Fez Fox with an immediate lead on Plasma, who's being followed very, very closely behind by Cafe in the number 21 Porsche, and Azure Goat is there as well. Then, so still a long streak of cars. We'll have a look at the midsection here. Nick is leading from Attic Racer, who leads on from Chris McNichol, who also leads on from Grim in the 115 Porsche. Slightly further, it seems like Dags has overtaken Skylar Vixen, although Skylar is going to do her absolute best to hold on to that position. Very well to be up here in P8, but nevertheless she's down now. Chris and Grim, Grim seems to have gone a little bit wide there as he joins back in. Manages to find a nice safe gap to get through there. Slightly further down the grid we've got Geek holding on to P28. Hoot Wheels is in P29 with Eris in P30. And Geek here in P31. Steffi's just ahead of Geek there. She's coming in to serve a penalty, and there seems to have been a crash already before the pits. I'm not sure what the necessity is of these drivers having to go that close to one another, and unfortunately Josiah has lost it and comes into the pits. That is an absolute shame to see. Back up the grid we've got Grim, who's fighting Joker for P12 here now, holding on to that position very well. Skylar does still have to serve a drive-through. I believe most of the cars have come in already to serve their penalty, but we'll soon find out. Nevertheless, though, Joker is looking to get a move on Grim. He's got the straights to his advantage. We all know the Porsche isn't very good on the straights, but it is phenomenal on the corners. You can see some of the cars there coming out of the pits now after serving their penalties. But Joker does look to make a move on Grim. It doesn't quite happen. Grim somehow manages to cut off most of the corner to overtake Dolby. He will have to give that back. He does, but it is also Joker he may have to give the position back to, though. It looks like there's going to be a 4 wide situation. Here it's going to be 3 wide coming into Ravazza Complex. Very well controlled from these drivers so far, as he managed to hold on to their lines. We've got Sergo there losing out to Ty and Fox. Saber kicks in there, and Skylar comes in to serve her drive-through penalty. Saber and Sergo go side by side coming up to Tamburello as well. That's going to be a very interesting corner to see then, as Saber cuts off the inside, goes a little bit wide, allows Sergo to possibly come back, but Suzuka's also there as well, watching for position. He's possibly going to look at making a move on these two. He's looking at taking the inside, although he's not quite made it happen, and Menos looks to get a cheeky look coming into Villeneuve there, but nevertheless Saber has held on to the position and now gets chased by Dat Sergel. Then just up the front of the grid as well we've got Fez Fox, who set the fastest lap of the race on a 1:48.1 with Plasma a second off him now. He's done very well to open up the gap. We've got ZZ, car number 18, who's... Oh, we can't catch him. He's had a big off there in the Villeneuve chicane, and Skylar comes round and collects him. What was going on there? It's quite obvious that he was parked there, but nevertheless, ZZ has now decided to get moving. And Skylar has now decided to get moving. And Azure has managed to make an advantage of that by getting through there. So just in her own race there is Sephi in the 222 P41. Got a lot of open space ahead of her. Skylar is now on with a stop-go 30 after starting in such a high position and only serving a drive-through. Skylar now has to serve a stop-go 30 penalty. Oh, you couldn't make this up. Oh, we've had a bit of an off from Ruby there. And where's Ruby gone off? We've got a slow-moving car heading down towards that final complex. She's going to have to find a gap to pull out onto the track. And she does find a gap to pull out onto the track. That's good. We've still got plenty of people behind her though, so she is, you know, she is on to make up some positions. Eris, Eris has decided to come into the pitch. Believe it has a drive-through. Let's see if Eris can complete the drive-through without getting a stop-goal penalty. It's at the end of the pits. Perfect. So it completes the drive-through there as Ruby almost comes in and cuts off the nose of the Lexus. I'm not sure Eris will be too pleased about that, but nevertheless, Eris is now back up to speed and chasing Ruby for position. Meanwhile, down in the bottom, unfortunately, we have Tom Bryan in the number 3 Reiter. Be interesting to see what happened to Tom in the opening stages of the race. That's very unfortunate for him, but hopefully through the race he can make up some time. We've got telephones there sat on a lot of damage. It seems telephones in P27, and I'm sure Tom will be able to unlap himself. Snooty has managed to get up to P28 so far. So far so good. Meanwhile, towards the middle of the grid in P23 is Tai Chi in a very battered looking BMW. They're all chasing Sabre at the moment for P21, who's still managing to hold off. Sergo. Bit of a complex procedure going on there as Skylar looks at rejoining the grid. She has to get back on the grid, and she will have to move eventually to let Tai Chi through. And we have Eris there who's moved to overtake Ruby. So now Eris moves on to chase down Sarah for P36. Look at the time that Eris is making up on Sarah though on that straight. The older machinery of the Lexus really proving to work its metal on that start-finish straight. Eris goes straight up the inside of Sarah into turn 1, and it happens very cleanly for Eris. That is P36 now. So we'll see what Eris can do through the rest of the race then. P35's ahead. Ruby has had another off, it seems. Although she's back on the track at the moment, allowing ZZ to go through. ZZ's very much battered and bruised, but then gets past Sarah. Skylar's had another off somewhere. Look at these 4 drivers going toe-to-toe with one another. That is... Let's catch up with that train. That is Hoot Wheels going for position on Deeds. With Danak following as well for the AM class. And it's Hoot that will get the job done coming into Ravazza. Then very good move from Hoot as she overtakes Deeds coming onto the next lap of the race. Very cleanly getting it done is Hoot as she shoots off down that start-finish straight. our newer driver, one of our newer drivers, Neo, is in P30 in the BMW M4 at the moment. As a very battered looking Wolfen sat just in front of him there, and Slowbird is just behind in the Jag. She's got that straight line speed to play with, and no doubt Jasper will be taking a toll from her as well. Here we go then, down into Tamburello comes Slowbird, and Jasper's catching up as well, is looking to take the inside, but it doesn't make it happen. Slowbird holds on to the position as they both now chase Neo into the Villeneuve chicane. Oh, Neo gets it a little bit wrong there. He's still holding on to the line though. It's allowed Slowbird to move up to the inside into Tosa. Fantastic move from Slowbird. She gets it done on the hairpin, and so does Jasper as well. Poor Neo losing out 2 positions there to 2 drivers, but now Jasper goes on the attack of Slowbird coming into Piratella, and Slowbird is now yet to lose 3 positions as Azure as well also finds his way up the inside as they all come into Aqua Minerale. It's Jasper now ahead of the train, followed by Neo, followed by Azure, and unfortunately Slowbird will have to look at gaining those positions back somewhere as well. Oh, that was very close coming into the Alta chicane. Thank gosh all cars got stopped there, but it seems like Deeds and Hoot have managed to overtake Paula, who's now being challenged by Denak and Skylar Vixen. Nope, not quite Skylar Vixen, she's further down in the grid, although this is Denak's race to have. He looks at going up the inside, it doesn't quite happen, but they get very close indeed. Coming into Tamburello, Paula's done very well to hold on there, although the straight line speed of the Jaguar could be something to see here as Paula looks to take the defending line. Coming into Villeneuve, and she does hold on to that position. Skylar slightly behind there, looking to take a tow. Randomly has moved to overtake Ruby here as they come down into the Rivazza complex, and it's Randomly that gets through first, although he goes a little bit wide and Ruby goes straight through afterwards. Well held from Ruby as she takes that position back. Meanwhile, in a race of her own at the moment is Sarah in the number 604. Very scuffed looking car is that Honda as well, so she's had a bit of an accident somewhere. And slightly up ahead, Azure's taking Jasper, and now moves on to take the number 529 of Wolfen. Up the inside he goes, absolutely no problem whatsoever. Azure is absolutely on a charge at the moment. Even after serving his penalty, he's gone from P46 on the grid all the way up to P29 on the grid within a matter of 15 minutes out on the wet track at the moment. It's a phenomenal effort from Azure. Speaking of someone who's managing to hold on as well, one of our newest drivers here is Telephones. In the older Mercedes-Benz, very battered looking Mercedes-Benz as well. He's done well to hold on to P28 at the moment. He's got Snooty up ahead of him, so plenty of space to breathe, and it looks like Azure is the next car off him as well, so he's got all the time in the world to just get on with racing and just get this track down. However, we're going to go back up to the front of the grid now. Fez Fox has started to encounter traffic, so we've got Ruby, who's managed to easily get through. It's now going to be Plasma's turn to get through as well. Plasma's P2 is 5 seconds off Fez Fox. I'm not sure what's happened to Plasma there, but that is... he's losing a lot of time to Fez, so I don't know if Plasma's maybe had an off or something. There he is, in the back of the camera. And Fez Fox again, just absolutely storming through this wet track. Then the next car to overtake is Randomly. Randomly is currently in P40 as they come into Tamburello. Oh, a little bit wide goes Randomy there. Fez Fox letting him know he's there and he gets past. So cleanly past traffic so far for Fez Fox. We'll see if Plasma can have a safe enough journey through, but he's got a lot to think about at the moment with Hemi Husky in P3 chasing him and getting closer and closer. Ruby moves out the way to let these two cars through. She's got quite a lot of cars to let through as well there. She's got Caffey just behind and Ferox, who look like they're gaining time there. Nick at the moment is in contention with Chris McNichol for P6. That Mercedes is holding on very well in the wet weather so far. Been a couple of cars that have gone off there in Aqua Minerale. What's going on there? Oh, Ferox goes up the inside of Caffey there into the Alta chicane. Caffey wobbles a little bit, but the GTR does get away. Phenomenal move from Ferox coming into a very tight chicane like that. Chris is getting closer and closer to Nick coming into the last half. He's going to look at the inside. Oh, the two of them go side by side with one another coming in, but it is Chris that gains the advantage over the Mercedes. Ruby again having to move that McLaren out of the way as these two cars come storming through the start-finish straight. Nick potentially looking at making another go of it. Not quite close enough there, although it might look like an inside job, but there's just too much space between that Audi and him to make anything work. So it's going to be up to Nick again to catch Chris up, although it looks like now Chris has got the position. He is absolutely gone from Nick, so I'm not sure if Nick's just going to play the safe game and hold on to P7 for the moment. There's 42 minutes left of the race. At about the 40-minute mark, we might start to see the pit lane open up. Let's have a look further down the grids then. We've got Saber Kitsune, who has overtaken Cammers and Sergo and looks to chase down Menos, who is currently chasing down Dip in the number 38 Jaguar. Menos all the way up to P18 now, so a very good race for him. We've had an off from the 36. Who's that? Up ahead we've had Dags and Ferox have had a come in together, I believe. Ferox backs off the track, but Dags manages to get it going again. How far is Ferox going to move down? He does manage to join for P13 then, so luckily for him, Dags has lost it. Oof. He's got a lot of traffic to let ahead of him, and we've also had the 97 of Cammers go off as well in Aqua Minerale. Hoot Wheel is managing to get through there as well. She's having a good race so far. She just needs to keep this up and she could keep hold of P23 or possibly gain positions. I think we can safely say wet weather is having a fantastic effect on Hoot as she storms off down to Rivazza there. Ruby Kitsune, and it almost seems like JPEG's had an off as well, but Ruby Kitsune has had an off. She's got to let a lot of traffic through there. Oof, I would not want to be in that position. Next up to take Ruby is Skylar as she comes down onto the start-finish straight. We'll see if Skylar can catch Ruby now. Skylar's got Azure now looking to overtake under blue flags already. It seems like Dags has come into the pits from P27. Oh, we've got another off there as well. Sarah's lost it up at Aqua Minerale. Oh dear, she is parked against the wall. She's trying her very best to reverse and straighten up. Obviously she doesn't want to be dangerous with it and pull all the way out into the track. She's now got a lot of cars pushing past her. She's not lost a position yet though. The next car chasing her for position is this lady here, Skylar. Although it looks like Skylar's about 30 seconds off. We've had Neo overtake Jasper along with Rene as well. As the pit window opens, and we'll see now if some of the drivers with the remaining time penalties will now serve, because they've got a longer pit to have. Rene up to P33 at the moment, relatively unscuffed Lamborghini she's driving as well, so she's had a relatively good race. Jasper's having a bit of a bad day down in P34, he just can't quite make up the time, it seems. Azure's made his way all the way up to P27, as Skylar maybe gets out the way, although she's got to take a pit stop as well as serving the other pit stops that she's served, but so is Azure. Maybe Azure will pit early as well and get a jump on people, but we'll see what happens. Tai Chi, Deeds and Saber have all come into the pits so far, and so is Snooty actually as well. A very early pit stop from Snooty. Skylar comes in. So that could potentially see a massive jump from the 48. And he's got a battered car as well. Up at the front of the grid, Fez Fox is out on his own. Plasma is being chased by Hemi Husky as they now have to negotiate making their way past JPEG Fox. We'll see how Plasma handles this one as they come into Ravazza. Got Jinfulv and Deeds now in the pits. ZZ is now coming into the pits as well. JPEG comes into the pits there to serve. Allowing Plasma and Hemi easily to get through. Well ahead of it though is Fezfox as he comes down into Tamburello. He's got more traffic to negotiate soon. Meanwhile, just up here we've got Attic in the number 11 Ferrari who's chasing Anka down currently. This will be a good race for Attic because him and Anka have got quite a good friendly rivalry going on. They're always when Attic was in the Bentley Continental, they were always competitive with one another, so this will be good for them to have a race. Then we've got Blade Wolf and Tyan Fox from one another. Let's have a look slightly down. Well, we will find him. He's here somewhere. Oh, there we go. So we've got Blade Wolf leading Tyan Fox in that Mercedes there. Doing very well to hold off the number 55. Tyan moves round the outside as the trees get in the way. And it's so far it's Blade Wolf that... Nope, it's Tyan Fox now that has the upper hand. Very good drag race that went on between these two. It's now Tyan Fox takes full advantage coming into Ravazza onto the start. Nope, excuse me. Onto the Villeneuve chicane. Nope, it's not. It's Aqua Minerale. God, blimey, looking at... Maybe I should just look at the cars here. Oh, Sarah's had a bit of an off there. That'll be a shame for Sarah. She's only just pitted to fix the damage as well. So great driving so far from Tyan Fox. On a bit of a comeback as he sits in P13. Looking to pull away from Blade Wolf. Although Blade Wolf up into P14 in the Aston Martin has done very well indeed. Grim is currently in P8 in the 115 Porsche. Got space to play with. We've got Joker, who's his next target, but 6 seconds up the road nearly. And then about a second off him is Dolby with Tai Chi now chasing in P34. Although Tai Chi will probably be looking at unlapping himself. Meanwhile, down in P22 is Denak, who's had a relatively clean race. We've had a yellow flag somewhere on the track as well. That is car number 96 of Jinfulf. Plasma there, getting past Neo, still being chased by Hemi Husky. Neo pulls over, very courteously letting these two drivers past and just get on with their race. He's also got to think about Saber Kitsune behind him, who's currently running in P31 and getting closer and closer, so we'll certainly see how that race goes, but nevertheless, Plasma is in P2 and holding. Ruby has come into the pits now. Telephones has also come into the pits from P28. This lad doing very well indeed this race. Very well indeed. It's a good position to be in as a new driver. Just goes to show he's had a nice clean and consistent race. Obviously he is losing positions, but he's got every possibility to make them back up again over drivers pitting. There's still 14 minutes left of the pit window. Renee has come into pits as well. She comes in from P33 there. Snooty has now completed his mandatory pit stop, so he'll be looking at getting on the charge and making as many positions up as he can now in the last half hour of the race. So Anchor and Attic still with a close race going on between them. Attic is really making that Ferrari work for him. It's having a much better effect for him than the Bentley Continental was. He's certainly a lot more competitive in it. I hope he feels that as well. Bit of a wobble coming out there as they go into the Tosa hairpin. Just up ahead of them is Ferox. You can see the red and black GTR there. He'll be looking at getting back into traffic, so with Ferox having to deal with Tai Chi's traffic, it could potentially allow Anchor and Attic to catch up there and take the position. Meanwhile, up ahead we've got Fez Fox, who's made his way past more traffic. We've got Jasper in there in P26 and Slowbird in P27. Jasper's got a 15-second penalty to take on top of his pit stop. Jin is serving a stop-go 30, it seems. So by the looks of it, all Slowbird needs to do is hold on, and she can gain a position there and then pit and keep the position. Hoot Wheel is having a great race so far, up in P19. About a second off Paula in that Mercedes. She's still yet to complete her mandatory pit stop. And they both come up to traffic that is going to be Telephones and Sarah. So Paula manages to get by. Hoot Wheels manages to just about get by, and it will now be Cammer's turn to get past as well. Quite a bit of good behaviour we're seeing from the lapped cars, especially in wet weather. Here we go down the start-finish straight between Paula and Hoot. Come on, Hoot! There's a P18 there, and she knows she can get it. Oh, they move round randomly as he comes out of his pit stop. It's a bit tight there for Hoot, but she does manage to hold on to the Mercedes through Tamburello. Skylar Vixen is yet another drive-through. She is not having a good race. Telephones has almost had to park it to allow the rest of the cars past. Tom Bryant there in the number 3 Reiter has managed to make it to P41. So he's doing a little bit of climbing there. Jinfilf has had another. It's not an off. For some reason, it's flagging pit exit as yellow flags. Oh, Skylar Vixen's had an off at Aqua Minerale. Oh dear, it started so well for Skylar. Oh dear. Oh, that is not fun. But well done on her for managing to spin the car around and get it facing the right direction. She now faces the dilemma of finding a gap to join in. As you can see, there's about 4 or 5 cars that have made it through. Tom Bryant now pushes up to P41 in the Reiter. And Telephones is actually entitled to take that position.
Still a long way to go.
Entitled to take that position from Skylar, although it looks like he thinks he's racing her. He looks like he thinks he's racing her for position. I'm not sure if anyone has told Telephones that he is actually entitled to that position. But nevertheless, Skylar comes in, gets the car to almost a stop before the pit entry sign, and that is exactly what you'd hope for. So we've got Cameras, Attic, Menos and Anchor all in the pits again. So Anchor and Menos are taking their mandatory stop, and so is Cameras. Not sure what Attic's doing there. Eris has managed to make it all the way up to P16. I've just noticed that on the leaderboard there. Eris is at P16. And it's only been another 15 minutes since we had a look at Eris. That's absolutely phenomenal effort from Eris so far. Meanwhile, Skylar comes out the pits. And she gets away cleanly out the pits. Well done. So Tom Bryant then is about 5 seconds off of Sarah, I believe, who comes into Aqua Minerale. Although she's now got Paula and Hoot chasing for P10. Where are they? Here they go. Hoot Wheels is going. We've caught this at the right moment. Hoot Wheels has allowed Azure passed. Alright then, so Hoot Wheels has allowed Azure passed. And they all move round Sarah quite easily. Got Suzuka in the pits from P8. Denak is in the pits as well as Sefi. Oh, just whilst it's under the mouse there, we've got Eris there. Now in P15 from Chris McNichol. Oh, Chris is looking to maybe go round the outside. And what a move he gets done through the also chicane. What a move that was. I'm so glad we caught that on camera. Wow, what a move from Chris McNichol on Eris there. It's unfortunate for Eris. But that pushes Eris down to P16. Eris still has to take a pit stop though. So now both Chris McNichol and Eris have to negotiate getting past JPEG Fox. So Chris McNichol gets through easily there. Anchor pits from P16. They both jump Suzuka, so now Eris holds P13, 12. Then as, however, Eris is still yet to take a pit stop. Closer and closer gets the Lexus to that Porsche. Obviously the Porsche is great in the corners, but we saw the straight line speed from the machinery of Eris's Lexus. We'll soon see what it can do coming up to the Porsche. It's only for traffic, but it's just an example here of the sheer speed difference on the straight line that the Lexus can take. It was once said as well that the Lexus was an absolute beast of a car in wet weather. I'm not sure what the condition of it is now, but it seems like it's worked out very well for Eris. Couple of flashes there letting JPEG know it wants past. See how these two both handle Aqua Minerale. Look at how much the gap's closed, and Eris is having to unfortunately force a way through there from JPEG. It didn't seem like JPEG was moving anytime soon. So Eris makes it through traffic and allowed to chase Chris McNichol again for position. Blade Wolf and Tie-In Fox come into the pits. Paula now pushes all the way up to P3 overall, but she is yet to serve her pit stop, along with Hoot Wheels, who sits P4 overall. However, Fez Fox is pitted now, so he's down in P5. So now Fez Fox has got some climbing to do, leaving Joker sitting in P1. Where's Joker? Joker's still got a mandatory pit stop to do, and so has Dip, I believe. So all 4 of these cars are going to have to pit soon. So all Fez needs to do is bide his time. Although it seems like he's going to move up the inside of Hoot. She has a bit of a Bit of a wiggle coming out the corner there, and Fezfox gets cleanly past coming into Ravazza. Nope, it's not Ravazza. Excuse me, it's Piratella. I've even got the track map on here in front of me, guys. So then Fezfox gets it cleanly done from Hoot Wheels. Next position to catch is Paula in P3. Oh, getting it a little bit wrong there is Paula. It's allowed the McLaren to get closer and closer. Oh, goodness gracious. Bit of a wobble from Paula, and Fezfox makes it cleanly past. Hoot's now caught all the way up, but they've now got Hemi Husky chasing for position. Hoot's going to look at possibly going round the outside or even the inside. A few more drivers still sat in the pits so far. Hoot's not quite able to close the gap on Paula, so Paula does hold on for now. They've got Hemi Husky to worry about behind them. Look how much time that BMW is making up on the Mercedes as they head into Villeneuve. It looks like Hemi's going to go for a roll. There's a bit of a wiggle from Hoot, and Hemi manages to push past on that one. I'm not sure what Hoot will think of that. Back in a minute, folks. My apologies, everyone. So we're back again. Hoot Wheels sits in P5 but does need to take a pit stop. And of course we've got Paula as well who needs to take a pit stop. So let's see what happens. Hemi's moved to overtake Paula. Apologies, we missed that there. But these two, Hoot and Paula, will go racing again, it seems. Has Hemi taken his pit stop? Yeah, he has. So this is now Hemi chasing Fez for position. And Paula and Hoot come into the pits, and it's Hoot that gets ahead of Paula in the pit lane. That was a very cheeky move from Hoot Wheels on Paula as the two of them make it into the pits. Very clean as well. Joker's also pitted from P3. I say he's pitted, he's leaving the pit, so he'll hold on to that P3 unless Nick can push through and take the position. Seems like there's been an off from Skylar Vixen and the 660 up at Aqua Minerale. I'll say it once, I'll say it again, this poor driver is not having a good day. He's got Azure to move over for as well, and Azure is absolutely on the charge, chasing Tai Chi down in P21. Oh, in an overtake there from Sarah. Having said that, Menos is now overtaken as well, so Menos is looking to make his way through traffic. Although it seems like Rene sits higher than Sarah at the moment, so... Oh, bit of a confusion between these two. Menos makes it past. Rene's now had her pit stop as well, so she's holding on to P31, hoping to make time up there. Neo currently sits in the pit. Skylar again loses it immediately after turn 1. Hopefully she gets going again. She's still holding on to P41 though. It seems like 4 of the drivers have left, so it's only Jinfulf that she's got to contend with at the moment. Jin's about 15 seconds off Skylar. We've got Slowbird in the pits. She's now served her mandatory pit stop. She makes her way out, currently holding on to P34. Geeg in P35 is on the start-finish straight now, so he now will take that position. And Slowbird is out in P35. Oh, apologies for that. We've had another yellow flag on pit exit. Although we've had another off completely from Tom Bryant at Piratella. This rain is really coming down. Then it's catching some of the cars out. Tom holding on to P40 still at the moment. Though it seems like we've got Anka. Where is Anka? I can't find him on the broadcast tool. Where is he? There we go. We've got Anka and... Nope. So Anka's moved to overtake Skylar. He moves to take... he moves to chase down Denak. The 96 has had another yellow... has had another off. That is Jinfulf going off at Aqua Minerale. Must be a puddle there or something, but this is catching a lot of drivers out now. And we have 2 drivers on the grids who have not taken their mandatory pit stops. 2 drivers on the grids who have not taken their mandatory pit stops, so they're gonna lose out heavily, very heavily. There we go. Jinfulf does get the car going again. So he's all the way down in P42. Oh, Wolfen has overtaken Telephones, it seems, for P28. Great job on Wolfen. Telephones moves cleanly out the way to allow Grim through. Very clean overtake between these 2 drivers indeed. And there goes Grim up the inside of Wolfen as well. Wolfen letting off just a little bit. Had a bit of an off from Zizi. There's been a massive crash again between a few drivers. One of them being Tai Chi, who was a laps ahead, excuse me, of Zizi. But Zizi and Sefi are going to go racing again. Sefi holding on to P32 in the Aston Martin. Zizi's coming up to maybe make some sort of switchback. It doesn't quite happen. And Sefi holds on to the position coming onto the start-finish straight. Again, a good example of like speeds between these 2 on the straight line. Look at Sefi run completely away from ZZ. Look at all the time being made up there, but then at the same time ZZ has got all the corners in sector 1 to make up the time. Let's go back up to the front of the grid. Fez Fox is very safely in P1 with 17 minutes left to go of the race, and Hemi Husky is only 3 seconds behind him. I believe we've lost Plasma, it seems. That's very unfortunate. Indeed. And it seems like Paula, after Tai Chi's had a bit of an accident with ZZ maybe, it seems like Paula is able to catch up and open and close the gap. And just ahead of them as well, you've got Tai Chi looking to possibly overtake Snooty for position. Hoot Wheels losing out a little bit there, but still holding on to P22. She is currently sat in P2 overall for AM class, even though it's P22. Sergo there is the highest in AM class at the moment, sitting all the way up in P14. Got Dip, Sabre and Deeds in a bit of a race there. They're all within about 2 seconds of one another. Azure's now all the way up to P18 and still on the charge, chasing Deeds down. Eris, it seems, dropped a bit down to P26. That might potentially be because Eris took its pit stop. But nevertheless, it's got Caffey then coming through in the Porsche as they head up Aqua Minerale. Here we go with these 2. Caffey doesn't quite hold on to the outside. Eris makes it through cleanly through the Alto chicane. Hopefully it can put down enough gas to open up that gap from the Porsche, otherwise that Porsche is going to get very lethal come Sector 1, Sector 2 again. Can already see Caffey's doing it absolute best he can to try and get past Eris. It's nearly a move up the inside, but Eris pulls off to defend. Seems like Fez Fox has spun out. He has. Fez Fox has spun out completely. And it now allows Hemi Husky to take P1. Hemi Husky probably cannot believe his eyes as he now shoots off. And Sergo, again at Aqua Minerale, has had an off. This corner is very much catching drivers out. Managed to get safely back on the track and allow Deeds around. Oof, Aqua Minerale claiming quite a few victims tonight as this weather continues to pour. Got Azure there in P18 looking to negotiate his way round Rene. Meanwhile, up in P8 we've got Ty and Fox defending off Attic. At the moment, I'm not sure where Blade Wolf's gone. They were chasing one. Oh no, there we go. So Blade Wolf's here chasing Attic and Ty for position. Tying all the way up to P8 in the Mercedes-Benz now. The Mercedes really delivering in the wet weather. Car number 36 is Ferox, has had an off at turn 1 it seems. Is there anyone else off as well? No, there's Neo. Nope, not quite. And we've got Ferox using the escape road there. Very smart move that. Slightly further down the grid, we've got Hoot now, who will be looking to move round ZZ for position, but it doesn't seem like she can quite take him. ZZ goes happily around Ruby in P38 there. It's now Hoot's turn to get round. There we go, up the inside into the Tosa hairpin. Ruby going nice and wide to give Hoot Wheels all the space that she needs to get through and chase Paula again. We've had an off from Eris at Tamburella, and we've also had an off from Skylar as well at Villeneuve. Deary me, this wet weather is beginning to take its toll now on the drivers. There's just 12 minutes left of this race. Come on, Skylar. 12 minutes left of the race. She can take P41. Got Tai Chi as well, who's had an off at the also chicane. Oh, that was a very tight rejoin here, and just slightly further down here as well. We've got a race now going on between Sefi and Zizi. Who Tai Chi goes safely past Sefi, but Zizi will now try and take advantage of that, but they've got to move over and let Hoot Wheels through. Hoot Wheels has now got to get past ZZ. All ZZ has to do is lift a little bit. So there we go, Hoot Wheels makes it safely past. ZZ nearly catches up to Sefi in turn 1 as well. Sefi again holds on to P32. Then as Tai Chi in P21 now gets away quite cleanly. And let's go further back up the grid. We've got Azurgo in P16 who's being chased by Sergo, although Sergo's got Ferox to worry about at the moment in the GTR. Oh, Sergo goes wide at Aqua Minerale. Ferox gets through nice and easily there. Although at the same time, Sergo's definitely not giving up on that position as they head down to the Alta chicane. And it seems like Ferox has got the job done. He's pulling away ever so slightly. well, he's pulling away quite massively now from Sergio, but nevertheless, great racing from these two drivers. We've got Tai Chi now looking to overtake Paula for P20. And just behind them, you've got Hoot Wheels forever closing the gap. You can see on the relative 2.5, 2.4, 2.3. So whilst these two get on and race one another and concentrate on defending, Hoot Wheels is going to close that gap up more and more and look at racing Paula for position, hopefully. But at the same time, both of them get easily past Sarah, although Taichi looks almost like he's going straight towards Sarah. He looks as if he's going to take an inside move from Paula. Paula's moving to defend as they come up to Tamburello. Taichi moves down to the inside, and does he get it done? Oh, they come side by side. Through Tamburello they touch, but they get through relatively cleanly. Paula makes it through. Taichi takes the grass line. It seems Hoot Wheels now moves to take over Sarah. Looks to overtake Taichi, but it doesn't quite happen. And it all settles down again as Paula zooms off into the distance, into the Tulsa hairpin. And Hoot Wheels now has a target of Taichi to catch in the final 9 minutes of this race. What an exciting race for Paula, and especially Hoot here as well, chasing Taichi down for P21. She's done extremely well so far. Oh, bit of a wiggle out of Piratella, excuse me, into Aqua Minerale comes these two drivers. And again, Hoot Wheels forever closing the gap. She has a very clean exit out the corner. Into the Alto chicane these two come. Very cleanly Taichi gets through. Hoot Wheels gets through. They're both closing the gap up to Paula ahead now. And it looks like Hoot Wheels is going to go for the move on Taichi, coming down into the inside. As they come down into Ravazza, Taichi is not giving up that easily though. Will Hoot Wheels go for the cutback? Not quite, no. She's chosen to stay behind Taichi as they come onto the start-finish straight. Telephones has pulled into the pits. That's unfortunately probably too late for Telephones to call it a mandatory pit stop. These two drivers are going at it again. Hoot Wheels moves up the inside and past Taichi she goes, coming down to Tamburella. It's a phenomenal move from Hoot Wheels, but Taichi goes back up the inside and immediately claims it back. Bit of a slide there from Hoot Wheels. She's got work to do again, chasing down Taichi. Great racing we're seeing from these drivers. Hopefully they can continue it on. Meanwhile, slightly further down the grid, we've still got a race going on between Seffi and Zizi. Seffi is still holding on to P31 at the moment. As we can see here, Zizi is forever getting closer in the Porsche. They're heading down to Piratella, which then heads on to Aqua Minerale. Seffi gets through safely. It looked almost like Zizi was going up the inside there. He's got another corner to try it now, coming up to Aqua Minerale, but Seffi's cut off the inside line. She goes a little bit wide there, but she still controls this race between these two drivers coming out of Aqua Minerale. These two drivers are absolutely on it, but they're going to have to move eventually to allow Hemi Husky through into the Alta chicane. They both come nice and slowly together, well handled out the corner as well. Hemi Husky seems to have done it a lot quicker and sufficiently closed the gap. Down onto the last sector they come, then the Ravazza sector. Oh dear, Seffi's a little bit wide, and she, oh dear, almost pushes Zizi a little bit too wide, although here comes Hemi Husky in the BMW M6, absolutely sailing past these two drivers. But they won't be worried about that at the moment, as they still continue to battle one another coming into the Tamburella chicane. We've had an off again from Taichi. It seems we've had a spin at turn 1. That's absolutely a shame for Taichi. And it looks like Zizi's finally got the position. finally got the position over there. Who's that in the background? That's Denak going this way, that way, forwards and backwards, trying to keep hold of the Jag. Jinfuel's had a little bit of a wide one there, and Seffi's unfortunately run off. Not sure if someone's told Sarah she's not racing Seffi, but Sarah's going to make it difficult for Seffi anyway, it seems. What's going on here? Why is there a bunch up between these 4 cars? What's going on? The Denak has to get through. We've got Anka looking to get through as well. Denak and Anka are actually racing one another, so this traffic is costing them time. Into Aqua Minerale they go. Anka's going to be looking at doing something to get past Seffi to allow him to race Denak again for position. A couple of cars have gone wide just up there, allowing traffic through. I believe that was Caffey just behind. Bit of patience from Anka there. Oh, bit of a bump on Seffi, but he does manage to make the position back. So good for Seffi, getting nice and out the way of Anka, allowing him to go racing again. But the one person that's taken advantage out of all of it is this one. So Zizi, the number 18 Porsche, is now stormed off and 4 seconds ahead of Seffi now. So Seffi's got a lot of work to do to catch up to this position, but if she tries hard enough, she could potentially get it. We've had another off from Skylar Vixen, it seems, and probably on the Alto chicane. But she's still got it moving, so that's good. JPEG Fox is all the way down in P38, not sure what happened there. Tom's managed to make it up to P37. Pushing the right turn nice and hard through Tamburella chicane there. I wonder if he'll be allowed to unlap himself from Sarah. Slightly further up the grid we've got Caffey then looking to race Anka. Sarah gets nice and easily out the way. Now we've got a bit of a... Oh no, we haven't got a battle on between Eris and anyone, although Eris is coming up to overtake Skylar for blue flags. Oh, 2 of them go a little bit wide here. I believe they're following one another as they come into the Tosa hairpin. I'm sure that will happen safely. Meanwhile, slightly up ahead, we've got a race going on between Deeds and Ferox for P16. Hoot Wheels, Denak, excuse me, has managed to overtake. Oh, what's going on with Hoot Wheels there? She's lost several positions, it seems. I'm not sure what happened there, but hopefully she's alright. Anyway, nice race going on between Deeds and Ferox then for P16, coming into the Tosa hairpin. They're both chasing Azure and Dip. Azure's all the way up to P15 now. Even after taking a 10-second stop-go penalty, Azure is pushed all the way up to P15. Absolutely brilliant effort from Azure here in the 765 McLaren. Ferox is really making that GTR work coming into Aqua Minerale. Oof. Absolutely biting bits of time out of Deeds as they head down to the final complex before start finish. There's a minute left of this race. We're going to go through the top 10 now. So in P1 we have Hemi Husky here, who's had a very fortunate race in the wet weather. P2, after suffering a significant spin out, is Fezfox in the number 86. P3 here going through Piratella at the moment is Chris McNichol in the 632 Audi. P4 in the number 17 Mercedes, out on his own, is Nick. Well done to Nick. P5 is Joker coming through Piratella now, being chased by Grim in P6. P7 having a phenomenal race he is as well. It's Tyan Fox in the number 55 Mercedes-Benz GT3 2020. He's looking at just overtaking Eris there under blue flags, although he's got a lot of work to do then, as Attic is hot on his heels for P8 in the Ferrari here. Tyan Fox getting closer and closer to Eris, having a bit of a skid there, although Attic has a perfect exit to that corner. Really beginning to push Tyan under pressure. At some point these slower drivers are going to have to move out the way. There is a race going on. We are on the last lap. Attic has moved to get even closer to Tyan Fox, and the slower drivers still have not moved out of the way. Caffey and Graham have been awarded a drive-through penalty. Oh dear. And we're still yet to see the slower drivers get out the way as these two come storming down into turn 1. Well, Tyan Fox doing very well to hold off Attic at the moment. You can see he's really trying hard in that Mercedes. Fantastic so far. Absolutely phenomenal effort from Tyan Fox so far to hold off. There, Skylar Vixen goes a little bit wide, allows all the other traffic through. They've got Dolby hot on their heels now as well. Eris is literally holding up 3 cars from racing one another. They're going to have to get by at some point. Eventually, Tyan moves round to take the outside. Eris is still at full speed. The Tyan gets past. It's now up to Attic to get past. Eris goes nice and wide there, allowing Dolby through as well. So these cars can get on and race one another as they come into Aqua Minerale. Meanwhile, coming over the line now is your P1 for the race. I nearly missed that. It's Hemi Husky in the 101 BMW. Just behind him, there is Fez Fox for P2 in the number 86 McLaren. Followed by P3 is Chris McNichol. P4 is Nick. P5 is Joker. P6 will be Tyan Fox after holding off Attic and Dolby. Here he comes, a phenomenal race from Tyan Fox. Rounds the final corner now onto the start-finish straight. It's the number 55 blue and yellow Mercedes from Tyan Fox. Back after a break from racing, he comes across the line to take P6 with Attic very close in P7, Dolby in P8. Blade Wolf, there he is, finishes all the way up in P9 for a wet weather race. Closely followed by Suzuka in P10. Menos will take P11. There we go. Saber is very close behind Menos in P12. Grim moves to take P13, even after serving a drive-through penalty, it seems. Dip there is for P14. Azure is pushed all the way up to P15, with Ferox very close behind him. And Deeds as well for 16 to 17. 18 is Snooty after having a great race from the start, from the back of the grid. 19 is Sergo. Paula pushed all the way up to P20. Cameras managed to finish in P21. Denak will finish in P22. Hoot Wheels has now... Oh, no, she's still racing. I think. She's still racing, but she is finished in P23. She's had an absolutely fantastic race. Done phenomenally well in the wet weather. So for Pro Class, the winner for Pro Class today is the 101 of the BMW M6. The Silver Class winner today is the number 17 Mercedes. And your AM Class winner today is Dat Sergo, followed by Cameras and Denak for P3. I tell you what, they've had 2 attempts at it. This third attempt was the attempt that they were all looking for, and it happened to be in wet weather as well. What an absolutely fantastic race this has been. And there's Hemi Huskies celebrating there with a bit of quiet space. And that brings us to the end of the event. And now we can finally say we'll move on to Paul Ricard's next weekend. Thank you very much for watching. And we look forward to seeing you next week. Good night. And just as a reminder, you can follow us on Twitter at Simufer, or if you feel like getting involved with our racing, you can find us at Simufer, discord.gg/Simufer. Thank you very much for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you next week. Goodbye.